silly.
It sounds like a library in here all of a sudden. Oh, facial recognition?
It's a temperature. But you can't get facial recognition on weed.
They already know you. What is the order?
They don't know me in Hampton. We good. I want to see somebody fail. I want to see what happens. What if that thing is actually giving us COVID?
And we all stay in line for it.
Good point.
You are fly on that. No, you're useless. Look pretty for it. Okay. I know. I want to talk to you afterwards too.
Peace and blessings, everybody. We're currently outside the Virginia Beach Circuit Court. We were just filed an appeal on Pop's behalf. He was sentenced to 1 year for a peaceful protest in Virginia Beach. The protest was in reference to Donovan Lynch and DeShayla Harris. They sentenced him to egregious time for literally a peaceful protest. So right now we're out here standing in solidarity with him, letting him know we have his support. We've been all up and down Virginia, having everybody else's back. So we have to make sure we have his back as well. On here, one of his lawyers is representing. Can you please let us know where we are in the proceedings?
Yes, he was sentenced, as JaPharii said, to a year. That has been appealed, and we are going to be setting that for trial. We have a date, but that is likely going to be moved.
I'm Pops Holmes. I'm down in the Richmond area, but I'm also a member of BLM757 as well as BLM RVA.
And you, ma'am?
My name is Amina Matheny Willard, and I am a criminal defense attorney. I've been a criminal defense attorney for over 20 years.
Could you tell me about what you're being charged with here in Virginia Beach and why?
Well, I was charged we had a peaceful protest over the deaths of Donovan Lynch and DeShayla Harris, as well as India Kager. And I was arrested and charged with obstruction of free passage. I was convicted last Tuesday. I was given the maximum sentence of 1 year in jail. I was told by the judge that they were making an example out of me to deter others from doing so as well. I was also given a $1,000 fine, 12 months probation, but the worst part of it all is they banned me from Atlantic Avenue and Pacific Avenue in Virginia Beach over a traffic infraction.
Now, you've mentioned 3 other activists from Richmond were charged similarly, and they were given much lesser punishment when they pled guilty.
Yes.
You think they're throwing the book at you for trying to appeal this?
Well, not even trying to appeal it, just the fact that I pled not guilty. The fact that they're trying to silence us because they've been coming after myself and JaPharii since last year. They were doing it violently last year, but when we showed up exercising our Second Amendment rights, they stopped with the physicality and they started using video to try to hem us up. So basically, if their thought process, if they chop off the head, then the body will fall. Our hopes is that if they chop off one head, 2 more will go back in its place. So my biggest problem is the probation that they gave me on top of it, because that means, first of all, they arrested me for a bogus charge in the first place. So if you put me on probation, that means that you can hit me with another bogus charge, and that will revoke everything that they gave me, and I'll have to do a full year in jail.
And I can tell you the other activists, what he indicated they got is more comparable to what people would normally get, which is a $60 fine. So they had, it's my understanding, the same charges and got a $60 fine. So for something like this, in my experience, it is excessive.
All right. Now, you have appealed, correct?
Absolutely.
The date is November 19th, correct?
18.
18.
More than likely it's going to get moved.
All right.
But yeah, that's what it is.
For anybody watching this at home that wants to show some support or anything you want to tell them, what would that be?
If they get away with it, it's one thing if I was out there rioting, looting, and things of that nature. I was literally in the street protesting the death of a loved one. And if they get away with this, then anybody that wants to get out there and protest, they now have a precedent saying, okay, well, this is the standard. This is what we give. So they'll do that to others. So for me, I have to fight this, and we have to win, because if we don't, then they'll continue to censorship and silence us. And then if there's no awareness being brought to what's going on, then that continued behavior will happen, unfortunately.
I'm James Washington. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia.
We here to stand up for Pops because we did a peaceful protest back in April that we were stopped and harassed by the Virginia Beach police. Some was charged. We here to stand up for Pops because he was sentenced to a year in jail, which is that's straight wrong. For a peaceful protest, we was here to stand up for Donovan Lynch and DeShayla Harris. It was a peaceful protest in the trolley lane.
And you were there when it happened, correct?
I was right there, yes sir. I was recording, doing photography.
Now, several people have been charged for, as you said, stepping in front of a trolley lane.
Was not being used at that time.
And the locality seems to be throwing the book at everybody involved for what seems to be a minor offense.
To me, it don't seem like being no minor offense. They just trying to pick at us. I know.
All right, here we go. That's better.
Yes, because they trying to pick at us because we standing up for the truth. And they said there was cameras out there when we were marching, but there was cameras out there when the shooting occurred. But they ain't questioned that, but they questioned us while we doing a peaceful protest.
Now, do you think part of this may be them just getting back for last year's protest, which there was pressure not to charge anyone?
Yeah, I really believe so. I really believe so.
I believe it.
Now, you're with BLM757. Pops is from Richmond.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us your impression of Pops and what it's been like marching with him, and Pops as a guy himself?
Pops is an awesome guy. He stands for truth. He has served his country to the fullest. For them to do him like this is pretty wrong.
Now, sorry, continue.
He's a peaceful protester. That's why I aligned myself to march with him that day.
Right now I'm in what I know is my home in Hampton, Virginia, where I grew up and I graduated from high school from. This is where BLM757 first started 5 years ago, July 2016. I'm currently here because I faced charge for a peaceful protest on our 4-year anniversary. It was during the peak of the George Floyd protest, and it was actually our 4-year anniversary. We were speaking out against the different police injustices. We were also, celebrating, 4 years of nonviolent protests and, having progress made. And, prior to George Floyd, we had been an active force in the 757. And so this, was simply an attempt to try to silence us. So right now, I was found guilty about a year ago, and today, after everything has went through, we're finally back for the appeal. So we're here today to file an appeal for a peaceful protest in 2021.
Can you give us your side of what happened regarding this incident?
Not particularly, not until after the day. But as of right now, we were just expressing our First Amendment rights, and like I said, we have been, doing this, and then and we can give some backstory on it. This wasn't the first time I faced charges in Hampton for peacefully protesting. On our 1-year anniversary, they actually brought out tanks, armored vehicles. We still have the videos of it, and it was for our 1-year anniversary peace march. We had been peaceful for an entire year, but even still, they felt the need to bring armored vehicles. I guess we can't call them tanks, but they're very huge armored vehicles.
MRAPs.
Yes, we call them tanks. That's what they, you don't just see those randomly driving around the neighborhood. And so those came out, and here we are. 5 years, clean history. We wrote the petition to have Juneteenth recognized as a state holiday. We started the fall of the monuments in Portsmouth. We wrote a petition for Matthew Rushton to be freed, and he has been freed. So I said we do a lot of good. You really can't find specks of bad what we do, and we just want to be able to continue to exercise our right and make sure that the voices get a voice.
So between you here in Hampton, Pops down in Virginia Beach, do you feel that there has been a press to throw the book at a lot of the activists since attention may be moving on elsewhere?
Yes. In fact, the attention being elsewhere is, how they think they have us cornered, and we're still fighting these battles in these courtrooms. That's why we tell activists from all over. Our fight didn't start or end last year. We're still fighting cases. We have to pay for lawyers. We have to get bonded out. We're inconvenienced, and it's not cheap. So a lot of times we see the different activists doing different things, and we just standing up for Virginia. 757, Richmond, Shenandoah Valley. And then we expanded our reach out to Washington, D.C., and then just this past week, we expanded our reach internationally, going down to Mexico to help the Haitians. So we just want to continue to be able to, do what God puts for us to do. And we just hope that, we'll be left alone here soon and be able to just do what we're trying to do, and that's help people.
Now, for anybody watching at home or maybe just tuning in to what's going on here in 757 for the first time, what would you like to tell them?
I would like to tell them that, BLM757, like I said, we were started in 2016. The straw that broke our camel's back was Philando Castile. But we also represent several different families, including the family of William Chapman, which is our first case, which his family member is pulling up here now. Mr. Lewis, he is actually our manager, but we also India Kager, Shayla Harris, dating back to the Mario Joyner from 2003. There are a lot of cases that happen in Virginia that the world doesn't know about. And so we were formulated to make sure that everybody knows about what's going on right here in the 757.
I'm Sister Chuma. This is Angolo. We're down here representing the Black Panther Party and the Malik survivors.
Now, why were you guys in court today, specifically?
We were in court just to show support for our brother JaPharii. We know that he has had issues in this area because he is a local activist, and that's something that's not smiled upon around this area.
Now, he's being charged today in Hampton. Pops is being charged in Virginia Beach. Both of them are contesting it. Do you think a lot of these localities are bringing the proverbial hammer down now that attention is turned away from all these protests, or?
No, it's just that way in this area. Hampton and Virginia Beach are two areas that needs attention as far as us. I don't know if you realize, about 10 years ago, Hampton tried to mandate a statute saying that if you had dreadlocks, you automatically could be stopped and searched because you could be considered a gang member. So I think it's just more because people of color have a lot more issues in these particular two cities. When you're talking about the Tidewater area or the Seven City area.
Roger. And I guess for anyone back at home who may just be tuning in now, what would you want to tell them and anything they could do to help?
Well, definitely, being 2021, going into 2022, I think that we're still not getting equal justice. Like, if we were treated properly, it would be no need for protests.
That's right.
But because we're not getting treated properly, and then they want us to just sweep it under the rug, then they want to kind of punish us for standing up for ourselves. So what I would say is that we just have to keep pushing, make sure that we do what we do, because we do have families and children as well. We have to set the tone and the path for our future as well.
We want to thank everybody who came from far and wide, and my lawyer, Mario Salute. The case was, he's better at it. Can you tell us what happened today in court, at least?
The charges for what he was found guilty for in the General District Court were deferred for 1 year and will be dismissed after a period of 1 year. So it's a great resolution for Aubrey today.
It's a great resolution for the 757 and everybody that came down. Again, there's too many people that think the thing. We definitely want to thank who was here, and know that we will never be silenced. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And a threat to injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I said it right? I didn't say it right.
Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm positive.
You got it.
Yes, sir.